Hey gardeners, I'm going to plant 2 heucheras and a heucherella, so stay tuned. So these have been in these pots all summer. One of them has been in my greenhouse and the other 2 have been on my front porch. This is the heucherella and this is the heuchera. It's really hard not to get those 2 confused. You may have heard this pronounced Heuchera with the H silent. Leave me a comment and let me know if you pronounce it with the H silent, but I pronounce it Heuchera. So anyway, the heucherella is a hybrid of the heuchera. It's a hybrid of the heuchera and the tiarella, and its habits are very closely the same. The leaves are more like the tiarella, but it blooms like the heuchera. The heucherella is hardy in zones 4 through 9, as is the heuchera. So they're very winter hardy. Actually, I could leave them in these containers throughout the winter. I've done that before, and they winter over here in my zone 6B just fine. But I do want to plant them. I have a really good spot here in front of my little lime hydrangeas that I want to plant them in. So they like part shade, which is like 4 to 6 hours. And they don't like it in a boggy area, but they do like to be kept well watered, if that makes sense to you. They are a semi-evergreen for me in my zone 6B. So they will stay pretty much intact. The foliage doesn't die back on mine. Even with snow on them, it may droop them down a little bit. And then in the spring, I like to just go in and clean them up. And you can see this one that I had in my greenhouse. I just had it in a clay pot, and I never even planted it in the pot. But it needs a little bit of cleaning up. So let's do that now. And they grow in a mounding habit, and they will spread, you know, not spread, but their mound will spread and get a little bit bigger. So just read your tag when you buy one. They do bloom like late spring, early summer. They start blooming with a spiky bloom, and the bloom is really nice for using in cut flower arrangements. So this one, by the way, is called, and you may have also heard them called coral bells. You may call them coral bells. This one's called Carnival Cocoa Mint, this particular variety here. And I don't know if I said this one, the heucherella is called Sweet Tea. Isn't that a perfect name for that? So this is just what I would do in the spring. I would go in and cut off any leaves that have sort of died back. I told you all the specs on these that I know, and I'll put them in the description. I'll put all the specs in the description so that you can go and read it. I started edging this bed a couple weeks ago. I was doing some weed eating, and I said, oh boy, I can make myself a whole nother planting area. This is one of the straight or the rounded edging tools. Anyway, it works pretty good if you don't run into rocks, and we have a ton of rocks. We grow rocks on this farm. We always joke and say we're raising rocks, but we do have some beautiful rock walls that were built many, many years ago. You know, and you can take your edger, where'd I put it? Over here. And to put a good edge on it, and you sort of just lean it back, and then that causes a sharp edge in between. Sometimes I line my flower beds with rock. Like I said, we have so many rock. But this one, I will not be using rock on as far as I know. But I also use my weed eater for edging a lot. Now the next thing I want to do is kind of place these and see where we want them. And I don't want to plant these too close to the grass where I would, you know, accidentally chop off some of the leaves with my weed eater, because they are going to mound a little bit more, mound out this way and this way. They don't get a ton taller than what they are here, but they do mound out. So let's see what we're dealing with about this one here that's been in the pot all summer. Come on, baby. Or you can take a knife and you can go around the edge of the pot, which I may have to end up doing just to loosen it up. Okay, hang on. I gotta go get a knife. Okay, so I got a kitchen bread knife. I don't have the proper knife to do this kind of thing. They do make a garden knife, but I don't have one. It's okay. I don't really use this bread knife that much. I have other bread knives. It's because I can use this pot to plant tulip bulbs in. Yay! Always need more pot. Come on, baby. Yeah, I feel it coming. Yep, there we go. Oh. Good. We win! This area gets morning sun and then afternoon shade, which is perfect. So if you put your heucheras in a little bit of sun and you see them starting to get their leaves burned, if they're in too much sun, their leaves will burn. That way, that's a good test to know if your heucheras are in too much sun. Then just move them to another spot. I did not put my side handle on my drill, but I highly recommend you using that since I know there's not a ton of rock in here. But I do recommend that if you have rocky soil, to have that side handle. It's really important. They make a bigger auger, like a 7-inch around in diameter auger, a 9-inch in diameter auger. The power planter folks do, but you have to have a larger drill. This is a 20 volt. You have to have one even larger for that, for the bigger augers, which I do not have. And I'm not going to use any biotone starter fertilizer on these because I'm going to use some compost here. But the reason I'm not going to use the biotone starter is because of the critters smell it, and I'm fogging up my glasses. The critters smell it, and that makes them want to dig it up. We have some skunk diggers here, which I'm happy because they will dig up and they will eat yellow jackets, whatever. And that's pretty gritty to eat a yellow jacket and go into a yellow jacket's nest that's in the ground. They will also dig up what I plant if they smell this biotone starter. So that looks pretty good. Yeah, it's right at ground level. I might bring the camera over and show you. Hang on. Can you see that? Right there at ground level. You don't want to go any deeper than that. I'm going to put a little bit of compost down here to put in the hole. Sometimes I use compost as mulch. I love it, but it doesn't last super long. I do want to keep some of the native soil in the planting hole along with the compost. Okay, Heuchera, it's your turn. Whoops. Oh, I'm sorry. I broke you. So sorry. Nice. I likey. There's a rock. You know, you can do all that with a shovel. But if you have a 20-volt drill, you should order some power planter augers. You will love them. I've got 3 different sizes. Love, love, love them. For me, it beats using a digging bar. When my husband helps me plant, he uses the power planter, but he's old school, so he uses a digging bar with a shovel when we need it. I can't quite handle the digging bar. Just compost around it a little bit more with some native soil. I'm real happy with that. Okay, I'm going to move everything out of the way, bring the camera a little closer and show you. And here it is all mulched up. Sweet William ran out to the co-op and picked up some hardwood mulch for me. So looks great. So happy. Well, thanks so much for coming along with me on this little sweat equity project. I'm sure I'll be editing this video way down. The whole project took me about 45 minutes from start to finish, so that's not bad. Anyway, I really appreciate your support of this channel, and if you would give this video a thumbs up, I would love that. And we will see you in the next video. Happy gardening and have a great day. Bye.